I don't agree with the Bush doctrine. And I don't know what that is.
Welcome to Watch Mojo. And today we're counting down our picks for the funniest times Saturday Night Live got political. We'll be excluding segments that aired on Weekend Update, saving them for a future list.
Look at me. I am everything a conservative woman is supposed to be. Blonde, mean.
Number 10. Kavanagh hearing cold open. Matt Damon took to the Saturday Night Live stage to portray current Supreme Court Justice Brett Kavanaugh.
Judge Kavanaugh, are you ready to begin?
Oh, hell yeah. Let me tell you this. I'm going to start at an 11. I'm going to take it to about a 15 real quick.
The latter was a nominee at this time in 2018 and faced a 4-day committee hearing regarding assault allegations leveled at Kavanaugh by multiple women. Damon's portrayal of Kavanaugh as an indignant and self-righteous frat boy echoed public perception of the future justice at this time during the hearings.
Now, I am usually an optimist. I'm a keg is half full kind of guy. But what I've seen from the monsters on this committee makes me want to puke, and not from beer.
Additionally, the controversy of Kavanaugh's nomination was juxtaposed with the rising Me Too movement, and the SNL sketch underlined this with much of Damon's dialogue and exaggerated mannerisms.
So am I angry? You're damn right. But if you think I'm angry now, you just wait till I get on that Supreme Court, because then you're all going to pay. Give me a can of water.
Number 9. Ask President Carter. It isn't every day that a sitting U.S. president does a call-in show with the people, but SNL parodied a real-life example of this back in the 1970s.
Mr. President, our first call this week comes from Mrs. Edward Hopbrat, or maybe it's Hopbrate.
That's Horvath.
Mrs. Edward Horvath, excuse me, of Maple Trace, Kansas.
President Jimmy Carter and journalist Walter Cronkite entertained questions from everyday citizens back on March 5th, 1977. And SNL cast member Dan Aykroyd wasted no time in putting his impression of Carter to good use.
If you reset it at the 3 mark like it says in the assembly instructions, I think you'll solve any clogging problems in the machine.
Oh, thanks, Mr. President. By the way, I think you're doing a great job.
The Ask President Carter sketch underlined how many on the political left, including the SNL writers, felt that this commander-in-chief, unlike perhaps any other, understood the counterculture.
Now, Peter?
Yeah?
Peter, what did the acid look like?
They were these little orange pills.
Were they barrel-shaped?
Yes.
Okay, right. You did some orange sunshine, Peter.
Aykroyd nails the former president's genteel demeanor, and the vocal delivery feels parodic but not mean-spirited. It's great stuff.
Let me remind you that it is now time to buy your tickets for the first American I Slept at the White House lottery, on sale at federal office buildings everywhere.
I figure there's no harm in trying, Walter. The tickets are only $1, and maybe somebody out there will win an all-expense-paid trip to spend the night with us here in Washington. Good night.
Good night.
Number 8. Nixon's final days. The disgraced presidency of Richard Milhous Nixon was sufficiently roasted over the coals during the 70s run of Saturday Night Live. Dan Aykroyd as Nixon selling a tell-all book was a good one, as was this sketch from 1976.
I had just gone down to the pantry for some refreshment when I heard Dick's voice. As usual, he wasn't speaking to me. He was talking to Abe Lincoln.
Nixon's final days sees the exiting commander-in-chief meeting with his wife, the Eisenhowers, and Henry Kissinger, while also opining about his situation to a portrait of Abraham Lincoln.
Abe, what's happening? I can't believe it. Why me, Abe, of all people? Why me?
Because you're such a dip.
The sketch mimicked real-life reports from journalists Bob Woodward and Carl Bernstein about Nixon's actual behavior during his last days in the White House. It is a spot-on satirization of a challenging time in American history.
Pat, where are you? I'm cold, Pat.
Well, dear diary, I must close now.
Pat, it's chilly in here.
I'll throw another tape on the fire.
Number 7. President Bill Clinton at McDonald's. Everybody has their favorite SNL political impression. The much-missed Phil Hartman was actually great at impersonating a number of U.S. presidents. But it's his take on Bill Clinton that perhaps helped cement his career.
Fine, but please, don't tell Mrs. Clinton. Jim, let me tell you something. There's going to be a whole bunch of things we don't tell Mrs. Clinton.
Hartman may not have had that lip bite on lock the way Daryl Hammond used to do with his impression, but the former's everyman persona is note perfect.
What's your name, sweetheart?
Her name is Shakira.
Shakira. That means African princess, doesn't it?
Oh, why, yes!
Well, she certainly is beautiful enough to be a princess. Say, you gonna finish these fries?
The comedian also nailed Clinton's reported lasciviousness, as well as his well-documented hankering for fast food.
Speak of the devil, that's one of those McLean sandwiches, isn't it?
Yeah, would you like to try it?
Well, maybe just a bite.
The image of Hartman's Clinton meandering through a hometown diner, munching on food and making conversation eventually became the stuff of SNL legend.
All right. You guys up for a real run?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Race to the Pizza Hut!
Number 6, Voters for Trump ad. The heart is occasionally left on the sleeves of the SNL writers' room when it comes to some political sketches.
The guy's a winner.
He's authentic.
He's the only one who's actually created jobs.
He literally wrote the book on negotiating.
This is certainly the case for the Voters for Trump sketch, which contains a very deliberate bait-and-switch attack. The sketch initially parodies typical political ads that highlight very broad stereotypes of average.
I think he can make this country great again.
Average American voters with average American goals vote in an average American election. The proverbial curtain is then lifted, as the average Americans in question actually turn out to be sourced from dangerous fringe groups like the Ku Klux Klan. Voters for Trump leaves absolutely no question as to its goal in this regard.
He's definitely not PC.
Number 5, Burn Your Enthusiasm. There's probably a large cross-section of SNL viewers that are still bummed out that Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders didn't win the 2020 U.S. presidential election, simply for the fact that we missed out on more Larry David.
You coughed into your hand. Don't shake it after a cough.
No, I didn't. Shake my hand.
Oh, no. You specifically coughed into your hand. I saw it.
The writer and actor's Curb Your Enthusiasm persona melds together perfectly with this exaggerated take on Sanders.
What's this I hear about you not shaking your constituents' hands? You can't do that.
No, you don't understand, Jeff. She gave me a cough and shake.
Sure it wasn't a cough and a wipe and a shake?
No, there was no wipe, definitely no wipe. She didn't have the decency to give me a wipe.
The sketches even lean into the penchant of Curb Your Enthusiasm to dwell upon humor that's often dark and cringeworthy.
I think I dislocated my shoulder, so can you just pop it back in?
Are you nuts?
No, it's easy. Just pop it back in.
Go to a hospital. I don't pop. I'm not a popper.
It's a perfect symbiosis of performer and material that made this political sketch one for the ages.
Mr. Sanders, are you sure I can't fill you that popper? We still only have 2%.
Take the 2%.
Number 4, President Reagan, Mastermind. The context of the Iran-Contra scandal that took place back during President Ronald Reagan's U.S. presidency isn't really necessary in order to appreciate President Reagan Mastermind.
Goodbye and God bless you.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you very much. Okay, get back in here.
The joke is crystal clear, a savage juxtaposition of the differences between President Reagan's public and private personas. Phil Hartman masters both the befuddled Grandpa Reagan and the devious Mastermind Reagan with his killer performance.
Hey, Mr. President, you're going so fast. There's still a lot about the Iran-Nicaragua operation I just don't understand.
And you don't need to understand. I'm the president. Only I need to understand. Is that clear?
The laser-focused Hartman is homed into Reagan's reputation as a careless cowboy, while his kinder, gentler doppelganger feels even more disingenuous and evil by comparison.
Hello, little girl. What's your name?
Lisa Myers.
Well, Lisa, if you're that good a sales lady, maybe I could use you up on Capitol Hill.
It's honestly kind of scary, albeit in the best possible way.
3 a.m. Banks will be opening in Zurich right about now. Guten Tag, Herr Schwarzwälder. Wie geht's, was wagen, Lukas?
Number 3, Sean Spicer press conference. Not every SNL political moment needs to be doom and gloom or a savage commentary. Sometimes it's just enough for an SNL political sketch to be funny.
When I say Rocky start, I mean it in the sense of Rocky the movie because I came out here to punch you in the face, and also I don't talk so good.
There's not too much harm done when it comes to Melissa McCarthy's broad take on former White House press secretary Sean Spicer.
Because I'm not here to be your buddy. I'm here to swallow gum and I'm here to take names.
It's a very physical performance that relies on physicality, prosthetics, and a mobilized podium to get the most out of its premise.
Does anybody else have any questions?
Yeah, a Wall Street Journal. Are you okay?
Spicer's reputation for being adversarial comes to the forefront with McCarthy's impersonation, while the comedian's fearlessness and lack of vanity absolutely assist with the sketch's levels of sublime ridiculousness.
Live from New York, it's Saturday night.
Yeah, that already happened.
Number 2. First presidential debate, Al Gore and George W. Bush. Every SNL fan loves a good political debate sketch. There have been some truly great ones over the years, too, such as John Lovett's memorable turn as one-time candidate Mike Dukakis during the Campaign 88 sketch.
Governor Dukakis rebuttal.
I can't believe I'm losing to this guy.
Perhaps even more classic, however, was Will Ferrell's take on former President George W. Bush as he debated Vice President Al Gore.
Governor Bush, your response.
I don't know what that was all about. But I will tell you this. Don't mess with Texas.
The former's squinty-eyed take on W quickly became something of a modern classic, as did the word
strategery.
Beyond this, Darrell Hammond's work as the straight man allows Ferrell to run off the rails with his impersonation of a laughing, clueless idiot.
But I'm not going to pronounce any of their names tonight, because I don't believe that's in our national interest.
The combination of both comedians working together makes some once-in-a-lifetime magic. Before we unveil our top pick, here are some honorable mentions. The Real World with Bob Dole. Norm Macdonald does an impression for the ages.
What the hell are you doing? It was your turn to wake up, people. I'm late for the Today Show.
United We Stand America. Dana Carvey nails the one-time third-party candidate.
There's a congressional election in 1994, and we are going to get rid of the congressman who voted for NAFTA. Do you understand? Do you have any idea what I'm saying? My lips are moving, but you don't hear a damn thing.
Debate 76. An early example of SNL's political poison pen.
At this moment in my heart, I'm wearing a leather mask and breathing in your ear.
The Barack Obama. Healthcare gridlock. You wouldn't like the president when he's angry.
Ha 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 ha. Me like dog. Me no like you.
Wait, no.
Jeff Sessions Gump. Kate McKinnon brings it in this sketch.
I'm the Attorney General of the whole United States. I got to meet the president and everything.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1. Sarah Palin and Hillary address the nation. Here's a question. What do you think of when the phrase classic SNL political parody comes to mind? You're probably imagining the same thing we are. That infamous duo of Tina Fey and Amy Poehler as Sarah Palin and Hillary Clinton.
I was so excited when I was told Senator Clinton and I would be addressing you tonight.
And I was told I would be addressing you alone.
The former in particular became famous for her impression of Palin. But the truth is that both women work from each other's strengths in a marvelous way.
I believe that diplomacy should be the cornerstone of any foreign policy.
And I can see Russia from my house.
Sure, the sketches might have only worked with one and not the other, such as with Faye's interview segment sketch alongside Katie Couric. Yet Faye's vocal inflections and the looks that Poehler gives the audience just make this pairing work like gangbusters each and every time we watch them on stage.
And as we say in Alaska,
we say it everywhere.
Live from New York, it's Saturday night!
What's your favorite SNL political bit? Let us know in the comments.
I'm an executive order, and I pretty much just happened.
Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips from WatchMojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.